What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time on a Sunday afternoon or morning. I am Britt Devine, here with my friend Tim, the Tater Man. Hit one of his taters yesterday. My bet came through as well. We'll have a couple more bets for you as the show goes on. Mr. Iceman Keith was on the schedule to join us. We are unsure of his whereabouts. If he pops in, we will welcome him to the show. But Tim, what's going on?
Yeah, not much, Brett. It's fun to do another show with you. I really enjoy weekend baseball. The slate's, it's a lot of different ways you can go, both in cash and GPPs. I really like slates like this. You and I already kind of had our first debate pre-show, a little bit difference of opinion about what to do with cash. So, I mean, it's going to be fun to break it down.
Yeah, let's get right into that. We'll see if Keith makes it to the show today, but let's talk pitching. We'll go to maybe Fanduel first, where you have one. You can sort of transition that to DraftKings as well. You've got Woodruff at 9,600. I know you like him. The Pirates lineup is pretty garbage today. You've got Gallen on the road in a high strikeout matchup against Minnesota. The Gallen on the road is not Gallen at home, but the strikeouts, I'm guessing, should probably be there against Minnesota as well. You've got a couple other options as well. If you had to pick one pitcher, Tim, to start your day off with, who is it?
All right, so cash games, FanDuel, I'm going Zach Gallen. I have no issue if you want to go Brainer Woodruff. But I think it really is those two, either Gallen or Woodruff. I literally wouldn't get too cute. Depending on assuming we get the okay kind of like from Roth, like if we can still pitch guys, in Minnesota. But
just to let you know, I looked at the radar pre-show, and it's like a real light rain. Maybe it cools off, goes away, maybe like 4 o'clock. That's a little later in the day. I think they just end up playing the game in light rain, and pretty much for the majority of the game, I would expect a very light rain.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting also. So I still think I'm going to go Gallen cash on FanDuel, but I really like Woodruff today. Like, we talked about that pre-show, no Brian Reynolds, no Andrew McCutchen. I know that Woodruff hasn't pitched since I think April, but he had a couple starts in the minor leagues. He didn't look great, but still, I mean, this matchup is essentially a AAA matchup, especially with no Reynolds and no McCutchen. So I'm fine with going Woodruff. I think he's going to throw, let's say, between 85 and 90 pitches, I think is fair. I kind of prefer him on DraftKings, but obviously he's $1,000 cheaper than Gallen on FanDuel, so he's fine for cash.
I like
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, spins a web any size, catches thief.
We have been Spidey bombed by TJ. We've been late swapped. Welcome, TJ, to the show.
How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good. So now that TJ has jumped in here, let's get these likes up. We're at 37. Maybe TJ has some ready to go. Get us up to 50. We'll include TJ in some Spidey bombs. But TJ, we were just talking pitcher. We haven't really gotten to tournaments. With you jumping in here, you ready to go? Let's kind of give your tournament takes, and then I'll throw back to my cash game since you just Spidey bombed us.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a lot of shots on these cheap guys today at pitching, I think. I am mixing in some Morton and Woodruff, but Gallen is the main guy I'm going to be spending up for. And then after that, for me, I want to take a lot of shots on these guys below 8K. Andrew Heaney, Taijuan Walker. I'm even getting a little bit of Oviedo and maybe some of these bullpen guys, a little bit of Chris Murphy against the Blue Jays without Vlad, without Danny Jansen. So I'm looking to make Gallen my main spend up, and then I'm going to mix in some cheapies too.
Yeah, I like Bradish. He's sort of the guy. The Mets lineup, Tim talked about the Pirates lineup being AAA. And the Mets lineup, I mean, outside of Alonso and Lindor, none of these guys I think are, would be starting on most Major League Baseball teams today. So, those are two reasonably good hitters, and the Pittsburgh lineup is, of course, worse than the Mets lineup overall. But I like Bradish as a nice swerve. I've moved to him. I would like to get Tim to Woodruff, but the rest of I'm at the spot. My lineup, I like it. I don't have the extra money to get to Woodruff. I've gone to Bradish as my SP2. Is that a reasonable consideration for you?
Yeah, that's initially who my SB2 was going to be, and then I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow, the bat projections. I'm gonna follow our RG projections. He got a pretty significant upgrade in terms of his median projection when Reynolds and McCutcheon were ruled out. So I decided I'm just going to go with Woodruff. But like Bradish was originally going to be my SB2, so I really have no issue with that. That bottom 5 or 6 of that Mets lineup is atrocious. So
Yeah.
I completely agree with your logic on that. I really have no issue with that.
Yeah, one of the bets I had on scores and odds today, you get it for free here, no premium membership required because you're watching the show, is the Orioles run line today at -1.5 backed by Bradish. The Mets horrible lineup, and the Orioles basically ran out an A+ lineup of what they were actually able to put out today. So I like the Orioles to win that game going away. And speaking of bets, TJ, we've hit 70 likes. That means Spidey Bomb number 1. Let's go for, I don't know, let's go for 90 for Spidey Bomb 2. What do you got for the first one?
All right, we're going in a pretty difficult pitching matchup in this one, but it's a great hitter, and the odds are just too good today. And so Cody Bellinger plus 680 going up against Morton. You can find that on Fanduel. Cody Bellinger, Spidey Bomb number 1.
Yeah, Bellinger should not be 680, and Morton certainly has some problems giving up home runs to lefties specifically. So I will absolutely follow you into that one. The 680 on FanDuel, I believe it's my little odd screen isn't working currently right now. But that's good enough for me for a belly bomb today. Anything else at pitching, Tim or TJ, you want to talk about? Any of the other cheaper guys? Maybe Tim, you can lean on anything else you were looking at?
Well, I don't know how many lineups TJ's making, but are you going to do any Carlos Rodon? Or are we just giving up on him?
I'm making 100, and I have no Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have recommended him like every week for the last 3 weeks, and like, I don't know, like I just know that he's gonna have a huge game, one of these days, and he is just so affordable. I think if I'm not making 100 lineups, but I think if I was making 100 lineups, I might put him in like 5, just because I think he's gonna figure out eventually. Sandy Alcantara, I think, is interesting as well. I think a lot of people are going to stay away from him going up against Texas, but I think that he is, again, very, very affordable, and I think that he's got a decent amount of upside even in that matchup. Same thing with Andrew Heaney. I think that we've seen him have some huge spike games, and I think he would be a strong value at 7,800.
All right, I have confirmed Cody Bellinger. If you have points bet, you probably can bet. I could probably bet about 45 cents on Bellinger to hit a home run, but he's plus 700 there. 680 on FanDuel is the next best, so probably just best to go right to FanDuel. You can put a couple of whatever an actual bet on a Bellinger home run. All right, offense. Tim, in general today, where are we drawing some of the looks from? Yesterday, it was the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are also a very nice team to go to today. We've got the Orioles. I think a couple of those guys, specifically the righty power bats, look very, very tasty. We've got Boston in a reasonably good spot. We've got Philadelphia lefties. I don't think there's a specific team from cash. I'm like, yesterday was the Cardinals. I was stacking up. I'm basically mixing and matching all the best spots today to make the lineups work.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Boston lefties. Like Chris Bassett has huge splits against left-handed bats. So like guys like Devers, Jared Duran, Tristan Casas, I think Yoshida. I absolutely love the Boston lefties. I love going back to the Cardinals, who are still way too cheap in my opinion. Like guys like Tommy Edman, Tyler O'Neill, way too cheap across the industry. I think the Reds are going to be very, very popular. The way that I'm building my single entry team, I can't get to too many of the Reds. I think you're going to have to maybe not pitch Gallen, or it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because they're pricey, but I think that they're in a fantastic spot. And then I think Arizona is going to be in an interesting spot going up against they're going up against Keuchel, right? Like Dallas Keuchel's back in our lives.
Keuchel had some nice minor league stats, but before, and he, he worked with I was reading all up on it this morning. His velocity's up a little bit, but we'll have to see. I mean, I'm on my other scores and odds bet was the Arizona money line today. So those were the two: the Orioles run line, Arizona money line. Those were my two. So I'm gonna take shots against Keuchel without question, right off the bat.
Yeah, and then I guess the only other team that I mentioned are the Phillies, especially like Kyle Schwarber, who's 4,900 on DraftKings, going up against Zach Greinke. Like, I think that's a fantastic spot. Bryce Harper, like, I don't think he's gonna get too much ownership. So we've got a lot of bats that we can get to today. But my favorite, just the way that I'm building my teams, I'm going the Boston lefties. That's kind of like where I'm making my stand in single entry GPPs.
TJ, what are you looking at from more of an MME perspective?
I like the call on the Boston lefties today. There's a few offenses I'm really liking getting to. Atlanta is going to be one of my favorites going up against Steele. I really like the Arizona call going up against Keuchel. I'm going to try and mix in as much Cincinnati as I can, but I also really like Houston today. And then both teams in that Toronto-Boston game, as well as the Baltimore Orioles, I'm looking to get to quite a bit.
All right, let's go position by position. Catcher, Tim, I was doing rankings today. I think the only catcher from when I did it at 9 o'clock till before the show was Ruiz. I like him from a price perspective on DraftKings today to basically lead my lineups. You've got the Royals catcher who had 2 bombs yesterday, who's also cheap too. If you're looking for a cheap catcher, is that where you're going, or are you spending up?
No, I think that you gotta get some savings with catcher and cash games. So like I can't do like William Contreras or Adley or even Sal. So I think I'm looking at Alejandro Kirk is actually probably my guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've got absolutely no issue if you want to do Ruiz or Freddie Furman if you need to go even lower. But yeah, I think Kirk is my guy today.
Yeah, I'm on Ruiz. TJ, what are you looking at from a tournament's perspective?
Kirk is probably my favorite guy there as well. I don't mind like for tournaments, I really like Travis d'Arnaud if you can spend up. Carson Kelly, I think, is a phenomenal play against Keuchel today as like a tournament pivot. If you need to find one of the punts, he's always smashed lefties. So d'Arnaud is going to be my favorite tournament spend up. Kirk is my favorite as well. I don't think you're going to have to worry about tournaments too much in terms of ownership too much in terms of the cheapies. And then Carson Kelly is my favorite pivot off him.
All right, let's go to first base. A couple of guys you've got on FanDuel. I was eyeing Vlad. I've pivoted to Bryce Harper. You can get these. Greinke on the road if he only pitched away from Kansas City, he wouldn't be a major league pitcher. And then if he only pitched to lefties, he wouldn't be a major league pitcher either. And that's both of those splits are in Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber's advantage today. So I really like Harper, specifically on FanDuel, where he's 3,400, maybe hitting with a little bit more power than he was when he first came back from injury. He's my guy over there. On DraftKings, I'm on Mountcastle today. Great splits advantage today for him at 3,800, hitting up towards the top of the lineup. I'm looking for him to hit a home run. I bet that as well.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think if I'm going up, I'd rather get to Paul Goldschmidt over Harper, but it's really a coin flip. I'm really a fan of the Cardinals today. I think if I'm looking mid range, I've got absolutely no issue getting to Mountcastle, but I prefer Tristan Casas. That would be my preferred mid range play. We also have Christian and Carcion Strand, who's 3,200. So if you really need the savings, I think he's projecting really well, and I think that whole game is I think that whole team is really in play today.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with just about everything. Not just about everything you actually said there, Tim. Let's go TJ tournaments. What are we looking at?
First base today, yeah, I like the Ryan Mountcastle call. I like him quite a bit today. Paul Goldschmidt, somebody I like getting to for tournaments. Joey Votto is one of my favorite plays on the slate, and then Tristan Cassis as a cheaper option is one of my favorites as well. We are 3 likes away from the next Spidey bum, and so we're going to go with another one of my favorite plays today. You can get him for plus 450 on FanDuel. Christian Walker, Spidey bum number 2.
Yeah,
That was one of my taters. I was going to use that as a tater.
I think I bet that earlier this morning too. So I'm just quadruple checking Christian Walker. Looks like 440 on FanDuel. We've bumped it down in the past 30 seconds, but 440 on FanDuel for Christian Walker. That was one of the first things I bet this morning. All right. Tim, are we getting off the schneid at second base today, or are we playing somebody else?
No, we are going to be getting onto the schneid. That is exactly what I'll be doing. Or you could go Tommy Edman. I think that's one of your two choices, really. I think Matt McLean is fine for tournaments. Guys like Witt are fine for tournaments, but this is a position that I'm going to be looking to save at. So yeah, it's Edman or Schneider for me in cash games.
Yeah, Schneider. In case you guys haven't watched or listened to baseball in a few days, up in the lineup for Toronto today. I think he's hitting third for Toronto against Boston. Cheap on both sides. That's the guy I'm going with. Edman's also on my lineups. But he's got multi-position eligibility, so I might talk about him elsewhere, but also a fine second base play. TJ, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm on the schneid as well. He's young power hitter, and he's super duper cheap at a not great position. I also really like Merrifield, Gleyber Torres, and Tommy Edman is one of my favorites at his price tag today. I'm going to try and get to some Ketel Marte. Jose Altuve, I think, is awesome, and Jordan Westberg if you need to save some salary.
All right, third base, Tim. You like the Boston lefties. I'm sure it's Devers. You've got Arenado too. I think I'm going Devers over Arenado today. As much as I like the Cardinals, I do, like you, want some exposure to the Boston lefties, and I think if I'm choosing one, Devers is probably the guy today.
Devers is my first player in both in both cash and GPPs. His FanDuel price is ridiculous at 3,300. I think he's going to be super high owned in tournaments, but this is just a spot that I'm going to be attacking. So I mean, I made it clear in my expert survey. I made it clear on my RotoGrinders lineup HQ tags that Devers is my favorite play on the slate, so I'm not going to. That's my guy today at third, no question about it.
And then TJ, if a lot of people are playing Devers, I think Arenado is going to draw some ownership. You've got Ellie as well on both DraftKings, and is he? I don't know if he's third base on FanDuel. Let's see. He is. He's going to draw ownership. He's got the right side of his splits, the lefty versus a righty here. That's where you've wanted to play Ellie for the power stroke this year. Where are you landing in tournaments? Is it one of those three, or if I think that's going to be 50% of the tournament ownership today? Is there somebody else?
I do like all of those three. Arenado and Devers especially will be the two I'm getting to the most. Matt Chapman I like as a tournament play. Alex Bregman I really like as a tournament play. And then Alec Boehm, Jake Berger, and Austin Riley are three other targets as well.
All right. You got another Spidey Bomb, TJ? What would we need to get up to for Spidey Bomb 3?
Let's say 150. To be honest with you, I am still I meant to people saying Bobby Witt is out. I meant Whit Merrifield, not Bobby Witt.
Yeah, Whit Merrifield's a great play today.
I can do another one at 150. I do still got to get my lineups in here though.
All right, so 150, we're aiming high. Let's go for 150 likes. Let's go to shortstop. I'm on Edman. That's definitely my guy. I came through yesterday. Thank you for Tim for talking me into maybe a little bit more Edman than I was looking into. So again, thank you for that. I've learned my lesson. I'm playing Edman today at shortstop. He's just too cheap leading off in a great spot.
I'm also playing Edman. The only other guy I would consider is CJ Abrams. I think he's in a pretty good spot, and he's, they don't seem to price him up aggressively enough on either site. So I think maybe he's better for tournaments or single entry pivots, but Edman 100% is my cash game guy on both sites at short.
All right. If Roth puts up a new tweet on weather If someone could let me know. He just posted something about Detroit. I'm hoping he brings up a final one on Minnesota. I'm keeping an eye on it, but if somebody sees it, please let us know in YouTube. That would be great. TJ, shortstop. What's going on? If Edman, De La Cruz, McLean, these guys are drawing all the ownership, is there anyone else you're looking at? You've got Urias down at 2K on FanDuel, but one, he's not a lefty, Tim, and there's only so many Red Sox you can actually roster. He's probably on the outside looking in for me. What's TJ's take on all of that?
Edman's going to be my favorite. He and De La Cruz are the only two of these guys that I have listed as like potential one-offs today. Everybody else is only in stack. I do like some Gunnar Henderson. I think maybe I'll switch him to as a potential one-off as well. But yeah, it's a pretty ugly position today. Edman's going to be my favorite. Gunnar Henderson is my favorite tournament play.
All right,
I also like Orlando Arcia and Paul DeJong.
All right, let's go to the outfield. Tim, I want to ask you, because I am not playing Aaron Judge today. He hasn't looked that great since he's come back. I think I want to see him have an explosive game. If I miss it, his price is down a little bit, but not enough where I'm too concerned about it. And like the mid tier is jam packed of players, and the value is really in the outfield too today. Are you paying up for outfield or a Judge and Acuna? These just don't seem like the best spots for them today.
I am not playing Judge or Acuna, but I certainly can't fault anybody if they get to a build where they can get to.
Who would you rather play
guys.
if you had to pick one of them today?
If I had to pick one, Judge or Acuna?
Yep.
Man, that's tough. I think Judge actually. But that's tough. I think Judge though if I had to pick one.
All right. And then so who are we targeting if we're not spending up? Guys like Schwarber, just pick all the spots we've mentioned that have the splits advantage. So you've got Schwarber on both sides. You've got Tyler O'Neill as a value play. Insert Duran or Yoshida from the Red Sox. Jorge Soler is reasonably priced. I mean, you can get explosive power without having to pay for all the price today.
Yeah, Jaron Dern is definitely my favorite guy, kind of in that mid range. Tyler O'Neill is definitely going to be in my cash game. He's been in my cash games like for every day since he like came back essentially, and I'm just going to keep playing him. He's way too cheap on both sites. I love Yoshida for tournaments. I've talked about how much I love the lefties for Boston today, so he's definitely going to be in my single entry team. But yeah, I think MJ Melendez is pretty interesting at 2,900. I was
looking at that, and the bat, and I think even the RotoGrinders projections throw him in there sometimes, and I haven't played him in like a month, and I don't know if I'm going to start doing it today.
Yeah, no, I understand. I get it. I think TJ Friedl.
Yes.
He plus 625 to hit a home run. I absolutely love that. He would be my Tater home run. I think he was 625 on Caesars. But I like him. I like him for cash or just for GPPs too.
Yeah, let me quadruple check. So 625 is on Caesars. Again, another one. He's 650 on PointsBet if you have access to that and aren't limited, but that's another one. The 625 on Caesars, generally attainable for everybody. All right, TJ, what's your take on the top of the outfield? Judge, Acuna, both, neither, one or the other? How are you doing that?
Acuna would be a priority for me for tournaments today. I am getting some Judge as well, but I like Acuna a little bit better. Actually, I got to adjust a couple things because how it looks right now, it looks like I may actually get a little more Judge, and I don't think I want that. Let's adjust these projections manually a little bit. Kyle Schwarber, I think, is the top just optimal play. Jaron Duran is another guy I really like. Marcelo Zuna, one of my favorite tournament plays on the slate. Like some Jorge Soler. I agree with like the cash style things like O'Neill and Friedl. Both of them are awesome plays today. I also like mixing in a little Tommy Pham, a little Will Benson, and of course the Spidey Bum, Cody Bellinger, and Chas McCormick batting fifth today.
All right. Let's thank FanDuel for sponsoring the show. If you are in a legal sports betting state, you can take advantage of their bonus offers. Tennessee, Arizona, Colorado, and Illinois. You can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. In other states, you can bet. You can get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. check your terms and conditions and read through the rules on those. But thank you to FanDuel for sponsoring the show. Let's get to some questions. You can go to the Discord, RotoGrinders Discord. It's popping off a little bit more than normal in some of the league channels. If you go to the MLB chat or whatever like that, it's free. But for right now, we are in the live stream chat. We'll get to YouTube in just a second. BJA Tom wants to know, he came in late, best 2 DraftKings cash pitchers. Tim, I think we have it down to a group of 3. We have Gallon, who's probably going to be pitching through a very light rain. You like Woodruff. I like Bradish simply because I just wanted some extra salary for some bats. That's basically my cash pool on DraftKings.
Yep, I agree. It's 2 out of those 3.
All right. Falcor wants to know, single entry Walker or Heaney at pitcher if you wanted to roll the dice a little bit, TJ.
Heaney.
All right. Let me just see. Sherman Tanks wants to know, FanDuel, Cash, Harper, and Yoshida, or 2 Red Sox, Cassis and Duran, Tim. This is the answer is yes for sure. Those are basically 2 options today. I don't think either one's wrong. What's your
they're
preference?
they're both really good. What was the first one again?
Harper, Yoshida. I think that's actually that I have that combination.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one.
That's mine. A Rosarena or Stanton for a one-off tournament play today, TJ.
I'd go Stanton.
Yeah, I like Stanton there as well. Razzle Dazzles, Cassis and McCann. This is DraftKings Cash, Tim. So Cassis and McCann or Walker and Kelly for DraftKings Cash.
I really like Cassis, but I think I'd go Walker, Kelly.
I think I'd go with I'd lean into your Red Sox with Cassis on that one. I think Cassis is a great player.
I just don't want to play I just don't want McCann, I guess.
Yeah, I can understand that. Off the Schneid. That means you've like Tim Anderson needs to get off the Schneid right now, right? He's getting no hits for him anymore for the rest of the season.
He has been knocked out as many times this season as he's hit a home run.
Yes. So that's off the Schneid. Let's see. Aside wants to know, FanDuel, Cash, Bellinger, Arenado, or Judge and Stanton. I don't know if I'd play Belly and Cash, so I think I'd probably do Judge and Stanton, but
I would do Judge and Stanton.
Yeah, I would do Judge and Stanton, but that's not. I would mix in some of the Red Sox, some of the Tyler O'Neill. Get some of those guys into your outfield on FanDuel. Let's see. Let's go to YouTube. Schneid, losing streak as in sports. We've got great producer Rob getting in there, and then of course it was Dean that asked that in our RotoGrinders chat, because Dean, the king of wording and knowledge and movies and all useless information. So thank you, Dean, for that one. Detroit. Anyone playing Detroit? TJ, maybe this is more from you from a tournament perspective with a Rossimo coming in. Anyone on Detroit looking interesting from a tournament for you?
I have 0 Detroit.
0. All right. Someone T-Tid wanted to know why no Heaney, and TJ chimed in. Heaney's the second highest owned pitcher. What do you like about Heaney? Just he has that potential. He's flashy. He has the potential to absolutely destroy your day too. You're willing to embrace that variance?
Oh, big time. Big strikeout upside for Heaney. I absolutely love him today.
All right. Jake Bowers, FanDuel one-off. He's leading off. I think he's, if anywhere, I'd play him on DraftKings. What is he, 2,600 on DraftKings, Tim? He didn't make the cut. I don't think you need a $2,600 outfielder today. But what's your take on him?
I'm not really that big a fan of that play. I think
it's okay, but I'm sort of in Tim's camp. Not my favorite overall. Yeah. Let's see. Single entry DraftKings stacks. If you had to pick, a couple teams to throw in your basket, TJ, who would they be?
Single entry DraftKings, I would go Houston and Atlanta would be my 2 favorites.
All right. And then the Braves. So the Braves didn't really make my cash team against Steele. Steele's been pretty good for basically the majority of the season. But from a tournament, TJ, I guess to get the Braves when nobody's playing them, right? We got a little bit of wind in. We've got a good pitcher on the mound. It's the Braves offense. These dudes could still score 12 runs today. I think from a tournament, they look pretty juicy.
They are my top tournament stack on the slate.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. It'd be very different playing the Braves, which just doesn't really make a lot of sense simply because of the quality of pitcher they're playing today. John in YouTube wants to know Bradish and Walker on DraftKings to start off Atlanta and St. Louis stack. So what's everyone's thoughts on Walker? We didn't talk about him too much today, Tim. You know, he's like a fine, like, fifth or sixth pitcher for cash, but from a tournament, what's your overall perception of him?
You know, having no Bobby Witt in that lineup is pretty gigantic, but I still would rather spend the 300 for Heaney just because Heaney's got such higher strikeout upside than Walker. So it's just, yeah, I guess Walker's fine, but I'd just rather get the 300 for Heaney.
And would you I'm not playing the Walker Heaney tier in cash. People are asking if you had to. That's Heaney for you, and I know TJ's on Heaney as well.
For what it's worth, I like Heaney better for tournaments. Mike, if I was playing cash today, my pairing would probably be Gallen Walker.
All right. Let's see here. Stanton DraftKings cash or a better outfielder to play. So Stanton is, I know he's really cheap on FanDuel, but he's 4,700. I mean, I could list the mid tier on outfield is just loaded today. So I would play Yoshida. I would play Schwarber if you had more. I would play Duran at 4,300. Basically, any of the Red Sox outfielders, Schwarber for a little more over Stanton for me today, Tim.
Yeah, I would prioritize getting that $200 to get to Schwarber is what I would do. But I mean, if you're really stuck at 4,700, I guess
you play Duran or Stanton. I'd play Duran straight up today.
Yeah, I mean, I would too.
Yeah, so
for what it's worth, I think Schwarber's the second person you need to put in cash games today after Devers.
Yep, I would agree. I'm looking at Schwarber on both of mine, Devers and Schwarber. So we're all holding hands across the finish line today with those two. Let's see here, Detroit mini stack. Now, Tim, from a tournament, Detroit with the pitching change, yay or nay? I mean, you're be real different.
Yeah, I would still say nay. You know, it's not like they're super cheap. Like McKinstry's 3,900, Green is 4,400, Torkelson's 4,100. It's not like they're free. So I don't know. I think that's getting a little bit too fancy.
All right, someone wants to know the rain in in Minnesota today. So I haven't seen anything from Roth. I can basically, his weather report is pretty much what I would agree with today. It's just going to be, it's a very light rain pretty much for the first 2 to 3 hours of the game. And with the game could be over in 3 hours with the pitch clock today. I'm okay. I don't really see, if you see a delay, I'm really not too worried about it because I think the rain clears up a little later in the day. My thoughts, Ross thoughts, are they just sort of play this game? What do you got, TJ? You're looking pretty excited.
Lineups are in at 1 minute before lock.
Oh, yeah. That's always, you definitely want to have the lineups in for sure. So that's cause for celebration. Going to go back to Discord really quick. I think we got all the Discord questions. Devers or Riley on DraftKings? Devers is number one, basically the top priority for everyone on the board here today.
Devers is definitely my guy.
If you straight up have the salary in the tournaments, I would go Riley, but I would still probably go Devers and then upgrade someone else.
Two pitchers we didn't really talk too much about, Urquidy or Ovidio. I forgot how to pronounce that for Pittsburgh. If you have to pick an off the wall pitcher today, I would definitely play the Pittsburgh pitcher there. He has plenty of upside, no question today.
I have 20% Oviedo today. So my final, I would have had Heaney is my second highest pitcher if I had more time to adjust, but for what it's worth, I have 38% Walker and 35% Heaney. And so Heaney's actually number 3 for me. But I have 20% Oviedo, 23% Bradish, and then just doing some silly, crazy things today. I have 20% Chris Murphy, the guy probably coming in for relief for Boston. No Jansen, no Vlad. I'll take a shot there. And then I have 15% John King at 4K. Guy expected to come in at long relief for St. Louis.
Yeah, there are some, and we didn't really talk about those. I didn't think they were really needed because you didn't need to spend a ton of salary, but I think I understand that those are probably Atlanta stacks, TJ, you have with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're playing Atlanta, I could certainly see that being in there. Tim, you got any taters for us as we get out of here?
No, my only taters were Christian Walker and TJ Friedel. Those are my taters.
My bets were Baltimore. Oh, there's that one. I am having tater tots for dinner too, by the way. Not anything to you. It's just what's on the menu with a 1-year-old. I was on the Baltimore run line. I'm on the Arizona money line. TJ, a couple people are begging for more Spidey bombs. We did not get to 150 likes. You're pretty.
Give me up to 125. I want 12 people to hit it on the way out. But yeah, I'll give one more just because it's a Sunday morning. It's late.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thief.
This game doesn't start till later anyways, and so it feels like somebody I shouldn't be allowed to pick, Brent. But Ronald Acuna is plus 450 to hit a home run on Fanduel. He is Spidey bomb number 3.
Let's see here. 220. Let's see. Let's make sure for everybody. To get Acuna, I know hit 450 on FanDuel. Yeah, that looks pretty nice for an Acuna home run. Olsen is up there too. Riley's at 470. So if you're looking for some home runs, I think Bellinger was 680. You don't care about the win. You don't care about good pitchers. You just want the good hitters hitting them deep tonight.
Yeah, it's just hitters that good should never have odds that don't match their abilities. And so I'll take the thing stacked against them because that's just too good for hitters of these caliber.
All right, I think that's going to do it for today's show. Click the like button on the way out. We're one away from that 125. Make TJ happy. For Tim and TJ, I'm Britt. Also for Rob, thanks for producing the show today. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we out you.